Hey, everybody, welcome to another segment of Smarterfan Podcast, where we bring you behind the veil of sports, business, and life. I'm Joe, and this is Barry. What's going on, Barry?
Well, old man river. I'm doing. I was forgive me. I was a nostalgia remnants of Black History Month. Or
Mm-hmm.
I was watching some Paul Robeson, one of the greatest football players,
Mm-hmm.
actors, activists ever,
Mm-hmm.
and just a fascinating life story. At some point, someone has to do another updated documentary of Mr. Robeson and
Mm.
his impact on the world.
Yeah, yeah.
On the world. Yeah.
Mm.
So I'm
So,
good. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing just fine. Doing just
Okay.
fine.
All right. What you got? What we cooking tonight? What
I,
seasonings?
I'm going to talk about George Foreman.
Big George.
That's right. So now he grew up in Houston, and he was raised by his stepfather, J.D. Foreman. Now, he dropped out of school at 15 and was just running the streets, getting in all kinds of trouble. But then he did a complete 180. And at 16, he joined the Job Corps
Mm-hmm.
and he was learning a trade, got his GED, and he became very interested in football and idolized Jim Brown. But he ultimately chose boxing and he won his first amateur fight in 67.
Mm.
And he won the junior and senior Golden Gloves tournaments also. Then he won the gold in the 68 Olympics, and he said that that was his proudest achievement. And on a couple of occasions, he sparred with Sonny Liston.
Oh my
And
goodness.
he said that that was the scariest person he had ever met in the ring. You know, so now he turned pro in 69 and he won 13 fights, 11 by knockout.
Mm.
And he moved up the ranks. And despite being 32-0 with 29 knockouts, he was a 3-1 underdog against Joe Frazier.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
now he made quick work of Frazier in 2 rounds
Mm-hmm.
and won the title. And he defended it twice against Jose Romano and Ken Norton.
Mm-hmm.
And he knocked Norton silly in that fight.
Yeah. Big George
And
was big.
yeah, so then he fought Ali in the Rumble in the Jungle, where Ali employed the infamous rope a dope, and we know that didn't end well for Big George.
Well, it depends on how you look at it.
Well, yeah. So now he beat Frazier again, and he beat Ron Lyle in a slugfest.
Mm.
Before losing to Jimmy Young.
Mm.
Now, after he lost to Jimmy Young, he stopped fighting and became an ordained minister
Mm-hmm.
after he had what he called a near-death experience.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, now he was out of the ring for 10 years, and then he decided to make a comeback to raise money for a youth center he created.
Mm-hmm.
Now, after a string of wins, he lost a decision to then champion Evander Holyfield,
Mm-hmm.
and then he lost to Tommy Morrison. Now, in 94, he fought Michael Moore for the title, and he was a huge underdog in that fight until Moore walked into that straight right, and it was lights out in the 10th round.
Mm-hmm.
So, with that, he became the oldest champ at 45, and that was exactly 20 years after he lost to Ali.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So he retired at 48
Mm-hmm.
and he made millions promoting the George Foreman grill. And
Yeah.
yeah, he did all right for himself. I have to give him that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he's currently preaching in his church in Houston. So, and the man is 72 and he looks good.
Yeah. I tell you, you talk about a bounce back story,
Yeah.
George is it,
Yes.
because there's a backstory that he told about how when he lost to Ali, Ali called him
Mm.
and encouraged him and so forth and so on. And that's why I said in the beginning, well, it could have looked like he lost, but in the end, he won so much more.
Yes.
You
Yes.
know what I mean? I mean,
And
that
and he
George
be,
For- Mhm.
he came well, he became a household name.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's my point, is that that George Foreman grill made him a probably almost a billionaire.
Yeah.
They was selling those bad boys. Fascinating could make them.
I know, because my mother-in-law, God rest her soul, she got me one for Christmas one year.
You
So
know, so it's just a fascinating story. And I heard he just sold his extensive car collection. He was a big car aficionado, and so he just sold it.
mm,
Um, yeah, so it's just interesting. George is a very interesting guy, interesting life and
yeah,
experiences in life, and yeah,
yeah.
yeah, that's great insight.
Yes, it
Absolutely.
is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So what's going on with the combine?
Well, Joe, I just want to make it official that I believe that the power, the influence of the combine, stick a fork in it.
Mm,
Stick a fork in it. I believe that with all the cameras, the relevancy of the combine is officially dead. And I think for a lot of reasons, but really that uh, Shador has killed it.
hmm,
His Shador has killed it in the sense of what's the point? Not that it can't benefit some players, but you really have some organizations who are determined to be bottom 500. They
hmm,
just are determined. And if you really think about it from a business point of view, it makes a lot of sense because you have a lot of incompetent people who know
hmm,
nothing about sports and nothing about talent, right?
yeah.
So I'm listening to this guy on Chesney. He's got a great Colorado buff podcast. And he
Hmm.
talked about Goldston, who was highly, recruited out of Penn State. And he gets to the Jets, and he was playing for the Jets at the time, offensive lineman. I think Goldston at that time was a number one draft pick. And they
Mm.
mopped him up every practice. He never got on the field, or if he did, it was sporadically. And he was out of the NFL within 4 years. And you have these stories over and over and over of these guys who look like Tarzan play like Jane,
Hmm. Yep.
and you look at Mekhi Becton
Yep.
again, number one draft choice, um, wasn't getting a lot of love in the Jets organization, which is a hot mess,
Mm.
and
Yeah.
goes to the Eagles, All Pro, looking lovely, Super Bowl champion,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So I think, and then Shador not throwing, and for good reason. Well, you got all this tape on me.
Mm.
You got all this tape on me.
What I
And
find interesting is how the Giants and the Jets both sent two players to the Super Bowl.
hello, hello, right? So again, and then you got Mel Kiper, who's like 0 for 200. Oh, this guy's this guy's that. And then my favorite combine killer is Tom Brady, right?
Mm.
Tom Brady, right? He was
Yeah.
a projected half. His college coach didn't think he'd be who he was. Probably thought the starter would have the career Tom had, right?
Mm.
And
Mm.
you can't measure. I think it was my man Carter who talked about you can't measure heart.
Nope.
Cam Newton, MVP, did not have a great combine. Won the national championship, Heisman Trophy winner, didn't have a great combine, great NFL Hall of Fame career.
Hmm.
So what is the point? And then let me not get ahead of myself. So as far as I say, probably the combine is dead and dying a quick death at best.
Mm. Well, we'll see. But anyway, got to switch gears a bit and talk about Pete
Mhm.
Rose.
The Rose, one of my favorites.
Well, a petition was filed last month by his family to have his uh, to be removed from the ineligible list.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this even if he gets removed from the ineligible list, it's no guarantee that he's going to get into the Hall of Fame.
No, it's
I
a
mean,
process, Joe.
yeah.
It's a process.
So, I mean, in '91, the Hall of Fame passed a rule stating that any player ruled ineligible by Major League Baseball cannot appear on the Hall of Fame ballot. They call it the Pete Rose rule. So now in the early 2000s, Bud Selig gave him an out.
Mm-hmm.
He said, he would reinstate him if he admitted to betting on baseball, wouldn't appear in any casinos anymore, and would stop gambling. And
Mm-hmm.
Rose declined. So that's where we are with that. So
Well,
we'll just have to see what Manfred does. He's going to make a decision on it soon.
it's actually hurting the Hall of Fame not having them there, because if we talk about people, that's like trying to say that who did Pete Rose really hurt? Himself,
Yeah. Yep.
right? And again, I don't know why. I'm not justifying what he did or didn't do. I'm saying what the man did on the field. Did he throw a game? No. No. Did he bet on a game? Probably.
Yeah, he bet on baseball.
But who was hurt, right? And does it require him to be for? Does it negate the work that he did and the billions that he made for Major League Baseball? You see, you can't have it both ways. The money he made for the teams he played for, you can't negate that.
Yeah.
In my humble opinion, right? And he's been out long enough. Even a prisoner is, he paid for his sins, right? But it doesn't negate his work. Now, it would be different if, my man was betting on games, he was playing in, he was throwing games, he was, you know what I'm saying? That's different. Like some of these NFL, like some of these NBA refs who are getting caught calling bogus fouls and all kind of other foolish. And even now, some NFL refs are catching heat because it's like, yo, bro, what game were you watching? That didn't happen. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's different, right? That's different. So, I think they're taking it through the process to get him back on, and they took the first step and to make him eligible.
Well, as Manfred said, lifetime guarantee, a lifetime ban means lifetime.
Well,
so he's no longer here. So that's why the process is starting.
Oh, I like that. I like that. Okay. Well, yeah, he's not here anymore. So set him free and put him in.
Yeah. That's Manfred's take on it anyway.
Yeah, no, that's a good take. He's not here. It's lifetime. His life is over. Let's put him in the Hall. He belongs there. He earned it. And that's always been my position with Pete Rose. He earned it. And there are guys in there who haven't.
Yeah, that's for damn sure.
Who haven't.
But anyway.
So, yeah.
Now, the Yankees injury list is growing. Okay.
Yeah, they don't want to show up until October.
I mean, well, as predicted, Stanton's he's gonna miss opening day,
Of course.
But now joining him is DJ LeMahieu with a calf injury.
Absolutely.
I mean, he's just an injury waiting to happen anyway.
And, Joe. Yes, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I mean, and he was going to be part of the third base being played by committee, along with Cabrera and Peraza, which is ridiculous to me. But this is just how the Yankees are operating these days. All right. And now add Luis Gil to that list. They're shutting him down because he has a lat strain. So he's going to be out at least 6 weeks. He might not be back until May. So, it's just, I don't know. They just don't. Do they look at these guys' medical history?
Has nothing to do with that. It has to do with it's a long season, and why waste my body doing stuff that just adds wear and tear on my body?
Mm.
It's really,
Well,
it's just what it is. You know what I mean? You know, because if I get hurt or whatever, I become trade bait and whatever. It's a long season,
mm,
and it's a lot of wear and tear on your body, and you're trying to get the most. If you're gonna get hurt, I want to get hurt when it counts. You
mm.
know, and it's just, hey, you can't have it both ways, owners. More games, bigger money means more potential injury.
Mm.
So guys are trying to preserve their bodies because that's how you make your money.
Yeah.
That's it. You know,
But there are a lot more injuries that you never heard about back in the day because
because
these
you make
guys,
them up. I
yeah,
make more money.
well, these guys are also bulking up like and they didn't used to do that before, and
I'm
that's
sure that has
causing a lot of
something.
muscle injuries, a lot of soft tissue injuries.
I'm sure that has something to do with it, but the science and technology right now. I mean, we're watching LeBron James play at a very, very high level at 40
Hmm.
years old.
What?
We watch Tom Brady play at a high level into his 40s. The science exists,
Eh,
you
well,
know.
we'll we'll see how it plays out as the as spring
Hey,
training rolls along.
hey, to your point, Sosa, McGuire, and those dudes that look like Popeye, they didn't get hurt and they weren't steroids. So how
Yeah,
do you explain that, my friend?
and none of them are in either.
Oh, they not going in,
Exactly.
but they was hitting the ball out of the place, right?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah,
So I mean, Mark McGuire literally looked like Popeye. It's like,
yeah.
is he MLB middle linebacker for the Bears?
Yep, yep.
So
No.
yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
now, who's benefiting from the combine, in your opinion?
I really think because of the NIL, because of collective, I think that uh, the players, and I think again back to what Shador is doing, and I have to say this before I get started. To my point, why the combine is dead. When was the last time we've seen five players from one team in the combine?
Mm.
And I'm like, how is that not news? How are you not talking about that? The national champion maybe has two players from Michigan, the
Hmm.
quarterback and maybe someone else. They're the national champion. How is it that you're not talking about this? They've got five Colorado players at the combine and should have more.
Mm,
And
mm.
I said this to somebody else, and I'm gonna say it here again. What this will show, and you probably see the completeness of it, is man, Coach Prime is playing chess. Is he's making it, he's showing how irrelevant it is. Because why
Mm.
does every team college player have a pro day at their school? And Shador said something very key. It's very hard to throw to receivers who are not your receivers and look
Yeah.
good.
Hmm.
Again, so why are we doing this combine thing?
All right. Basketball. Okay. The Red Storm. St. John's clinched their first outright Big East title since Chris Mullin led them to the Final Four under Coach Lou Carnesecca. All right. Now, their hope
Wow.
is, yeah, yeah. I mean, Patino's got them boys playing, right? And their hope is to
Oh,
win
that's
their
that Patino marker. Yep.
yeah, their hope is to win their uh first Big East tournament title since 2000, and make a run deep into the NCAA tournament. So that's their hope. So, like I said, Patino's got them boys playing. So let's see how that shakes out. Now, the
Absolutely.
UConn women, they clinched their fifth straight Big East regular season title. Now,
Hmm.
Ozzy Fudd has some, she's got decide whether she's going to come back or turn pro now. Now, she's had some health issues, but when she's healthy, she's averaging 12.8 points a game and 46% from 3-point land. So it's just a matter of she has to decide what she wants to do. So now Paige Buchers said she's not coming back. She's ready to go into the draft. She's the presumptive number 1 pick in this year's draft. So it's going to be interesting to see where she goes.
Whatever makes money. Whatever makes money.
That's right. Well, speaking of that, now last week I said that the Chicago Sky was loading up. Well, this week they're moving on up. Okay, because I guess in anticipation of there being large crowds, they're going to host both their home games against the Fever in the United Center.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and this is the first time a WNBA team is going to play in the United Center. So,
okay.
Because their current arena holds 10,000 and the United Center holds 20,000. So it's gonna be, oh yeah, you know that. Now, the Mystics and the Sun are gonna follow suit when they host the Fever. The Mystics are gonna play at CFG Bank Arena in Baltimore, and the Sun are gonna play at TD Garden in Boston again when they host the Fever. So it's gonna be really interesting to see how these teams play in these big arenas. You know, I mean, because you're gonna get the people. You know they're gonna come. So,
it's an exciting game. It's more exciting than men.
That's for sure. That's for damn sure. But anyway, we'll just have to see how that works out, and we'll have to stop right here, and we'll see everybody next week. So, you know what they say.
That's on Smarterfan podcast.
Stay in the game.
Stay in the game.
That's right. All right.
Until next week, be well.
That's right. Have a good night.
Smarterfan. Smarterfan. Yeah.